What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker podcast. I'm Nick Baker, and across from me, Shane Good.
Yo, what up?
And we are here to talk to you about some video games. First things first, I want to remind you guys, if you like this show, go over to Google Play, Apple Music, Spotify, give us a subscribe. There's a whole lot more episodes there, and if you want to keep up with everything that we're doing, look at our Facebook, Instagram, and, all our social media accounts. But without further ado, let's get on with the show. What have you been playing, man?
Dude, I've been playing this really exciting game. It's, it's got great combat. It's got amazing randomized.
Yeah?
It's got, It's TFT.
No. Hey, at least it's not League of Legends.
No, you know what? I still play ARAMs every now and again, but, dude, I haven't punched my keyboard in weeks ever since I stopped playing League. I haven't punched my keyboard. I haven't.
Yeah, I see the pile of keyboards in your room has gone down quite considerably.
I haven't smashed my desk. Dude, it's amazing what not having to worry about your teammates will do in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
TFT's, just single player. You fuck up, it's all on you, and then you're like, well, shit.
It's like, wow. It's just me that's trash.
Pretty much. So this past week I learned a lot of new compositions. I'm trying to learn, there's two ways to play TFT. Mm-hmm. Or there's several different ways, but there's two very popular ways. You can either take a single build and learn all of the ins and outs of it and learn how to force it consistently. So the game gives you the randomized cards or the randomized champions. And you can learn how to manipulate your gold and most likely be able to force specific compositions at any point in the game. Or you can learn how to just take whatever the game gives you and learn every composition that you could produce with what the game gives you. The forcing a composition is far easier to learn how to do, and it takes a lot less skill and a lot less brain power. However, I prefer the other playstyle because it's a lot more flexible and it's just a lot more difficult, and I find that fun.
Right, challenge.
Yeah, exactly. It's a challenge. So that's basically, I've now learned how to play, I got to gold on 3 different accounts, and I've learned how to play the top 3 compositions along with a little bit of other stuff in between. And I'm pretty confident in those 3 compositions. So now I'm going to take one of the accounts, as they call it, the try-hard account, where I'm going to just try and play the best I possibly can as a just forcing one build, and then I'm going to take the other 2 accounts and try and play the best I possibly can flexing. So playing whatever build is given to me and kind of understanding how to play it. So that's what I've been doing this week. It is challenging. It's pretty entertaining and it's pretty challenging.
That's good.
So,
do you play against any of your regulars in other games? Do you go against people that you know, or do you go against just random people?
Sometimes we play because you can play up to 8 people in ranked, and you can all play together as friends. Sometimes I do that, but a lot of times I feel a little bit weird about doing that because I have a 70% top 4 rating. So anybody below the top 4 doesn't get LP, which means they lose LP, which means they're losing rank. So 4 out of the people that we're playing with will be deranking while I'm ranking, and I just feel really strange about being yes, join this room. And then I'm going to take you for the biggest ride of your fucking life.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I feel a little bad about it, so I try not to play with I might play with one other person or 2 other people, but
right,
because then we can all get LP,
Yeah, sounds fair.
Yeah, yeah, it's not bad. But what about you, man? What have you been playing?
So I've been playing 2 things. Well, 3 things, but the third thing is whatever. I play that every week.
Oh. I know what that is.
So the first thing on the list, Ghost of Tsushima. I finally sunsetted that. Finished it last night. What a great game, man! From start to finish, I was really enthralled in the world and the story it was telling, and it really starts to rev up in the third part of the game. And man, it's one of those PlayStation exclusives that's just a solid 8.5 game that you're gonna have a great time with and probably never pick up again. I'm really close to the platinum in it though, so I'll probably pick it up for like a short bit, and I might try some of the harder difficulties, but it's just one of those games that it'll take a little while before I actually go back to it and fiddle around with it again.
I got you.
But on the other side of things, the Avengers beta for PS4 pre-orders came out on Friday, and I've been playing that a little bit. I played that on the actual launch day of it, and yeah, it's pretty solid, I'd say. A lot better than I expected it to be. I expected it to be a really broken experience, and really it wasn't. From start to finish, the story stuff that I was playing felt impactful, and the cutscenes that they give you are actually like good story beats that kind of get you enticed to see more. The main character of the story, the new character, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, she actually is way more charming than I expected her to be. I kind of saw her powers in all the trailers, and I was like, I'm not really interested in like the Mr. Incredible, like, stretchy limbs type thing.
Senior stretchy arms.
But that being said, she is a whole lot of fun to play, and the mechanics that they give you for each of the characters, they kind of mirror each other in a little bit of a way, where you have like an L2, R2 ranged attack for most every of the characters, and hers is just this like cannon punch that she just throws her fist.
Yeah, it's very a Luffy punch.
Yeah, exactly. It's much like Luffy in a lot of ways. And really, if they made a One Piece game that was any type of good, this mechanic would work really, really well, I think.
Yeah.
But
hope you guys are listening.
Yeah, please. So that being said, the multiplayer stuff is a little bit repetitive in the beta. There's not too much variance in what you actually do. It's just kind of going from section to section, fighting a group of enemies, or capturing a point, fighting enemies, defending that point. That stuff feels pretty samey. But I imagine that there'll be more variety when the actual full game comes out, and you can play with whatever character you want. Right now, the slate of characters you can play for those are Miss Marvel, Hulk, Black Widow, and Iron Man.
Okay.
Iron Man feels a little wonky to play as, just because the flight isn't as good as I think it should be. When you actually take flight, you're almost forced forward. But you have
less
like
control.
You have like a hover mode, so that's fine. But when you actually do like the jets forward, you're constantly moving forward, and you don't really have much control over the speed of that. You can kind of tilt forward to go a little bit faster, but that really helps nothing at all. And when you're trying to do this in like what they call the harm rooms, which is just this kind of VR area where you train, it's really tight and small in there. So being Iron Man trying to fly around at like super speed is not really beneficial in any way. But other than that, really really fun. Crunchy combos with a lot of the characters, especially Hulk. I think has a lot of really good AoE effect abilities, where his special ability, which I think is L1, R1, the shoulder buttons if you're an Xbox player, it's just this big clap, and it's just as good as you would think like an Incredible Hulk game should be. It's just like bam, you smash, and all the guys in front of you just go over, and you destroy half of them on the ground, so you can finish those guys. And there's a really cool mechanic with Hulk where you can grab enemies and just swing them around like a bat and smash them on the ground, just like Loki in Avengers. So it's really a cool experience that I'm looking forward to getting more into, and I'm actually really shocked and surprised that it took me in like that, and really made me excited for the game. So excited to see more about that. But that's not what today's show is about. Today's show is about PlayStation State of Play, and it was a little underwhelming, but we'll get to some of the good parts and skim over some of the parts.
True.
So they started off with Crash 4 details, which I think made me the most excited about Crash 4 that I've been at all. Like I used to really love the Crash games. I haven't gotten into the remakes of them.
Yeah.
But I hear that they're great.
I hear they're very difficult as well.
Yeah, in the original games, admittedly there were some levels that were pretty hard, especially as like a 9-10-year-old kid trying to play through those games at the time
with those fucking PS2 hitboxes.
Yeah, and the PlayStation controllers back then were so ugh.
Yeah,
but that being said, this game again looks so much better than it has any right to, and the graphics alone look like a beautiful Saturday morning cartoon. They're adding tons of skins so you can customize Crash and Coco however you like. Coco's playable in any level that Crash is playable.
Yo.
So you have that kind of switch between female, male, protagonists. You can also play as Cortex and Dingodile later on in the game, but they didn't kind of describe how much of the game you're actually going to be able to play with those guys.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Other than that, there is a new way to play each of the levels that you go through in the main campaign. What did they call it? I think it's like Insane Mode or something like that, and it's their take on a mirror mode where each level has a different theme that you can throw onto it. So say you go through a level and it's just a standard level, you're jumping on platforms, running through, you can then go through this level and the whole level's underwater. So
interesting.
In that way it's really, really cool. And some of them had just kind of different skins for the levels. So one's this old-timey cartoon where everything's kind of sped up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it looks a lot like Cuphead, where you're just like jumping around and it's like doop doop down doop doop doo.
Cuphead was pretty fun. Talk about a fucking difficult game though.
Yeah, and I think that they're not going to ramp down on the difficulty for this one, because I hear that some of the levels are still pretty challenging from the people that have played early access. And Crash 4 is coming out on October 2nd, so look forward to that before the big stuff comes out, and the new consoles are dominating the market. So
yikes,
it'll be a good one to get in right under the gun.
I mean, yeah, that's these games have always interested me. However, I just didn't play them when I was a kid. It was either this, was it this Ratchet Clank, or what was the other adventure game that I always fucking played?
It was a whole bunch.
Oh, dude, it was like a Ratchet and Clank type game, but I can't think of the name of it.
Jack?
Yeah.
Jack and Daxter. Yeah.
Jack and Dexter. Whew. Words hard today.
Right.
I played a lot. I beat every Jack and Dexter game.
Yeah, those were really, really fun. And
those were super fun.
They kind of matured really well into like the Jack 1 and 2 series. Yep. So
also the Ty, I think it was just called Ty, the boomerang game. The guy with the guy that always had the boomerang.
They just remade it.
Yeah.
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
Is that it?
That's right. Yeah,
dude, that game was.
Oh man, that was so good.
That was super fun.
Yeah, I saw that they just remastered that not too long ago for Switch, actually. So
no shit.
Yeah, it's probably a really good one to pick up on there. I'm not sure how much that is though. We'll have to get the numbers on that one and come back next week if we even remember.
True. Well, enough sidetracking. What's next?
Next on the list is Hitman 3.
Ooh.
And Hitman 3 looked great when they first announced it at the last State of Play, and they showed all the great stuff. But now it's going to have VR compatibility.
This is so interesting.
And the way that they showed it in the game it's like VR murder. And I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out for a lot of people, because it could be really immersive and fun for those fans of Hitman games, but damn, it's like we're crossing a line here pretty shortly.
It's really immersive and really fun.
It's like you're strangling dudes and you have to sit there for a while. It's like yeah, I don't know.
That's
it's different than Assassin's Creed when you're like just hitting some buttons and stabbing dudes, but yeah, I don't know.
All right, mark my words on this prediction.
All right,
you ready?
Words being marked.
Dude, somebody is gonna get that game and then kill somebody IRL. But blame it on the VR game. And be like, oh, no, I had the VR headset on. I didn't realize I was actually physically strangling somebody.
Yeah, we're going to have a 1995 Mortal Kombat situation on our hands all over again.
Literally.
But, so that one was pretty exciting. That one's coming out January 21st, 2021. I'm not sure if VR will be right along with that. It did put the date on there, so... We'll see. The next one was Braid Anniversary Edition. If you were into Braid at all, it was this time control platformer game. I think it came out in like 2008 or something like that.
2008. I looked it up earlier.
They're remastering it, or the creator. I think it's just one guy.
Yeah.
At least it sounded like that when they were talking. He was talking in the demo or trailer, whatever you want to call it. Words, they're hard.
True.
So yeah, that's exciting for those fans of Braid. I never played it. I heard it was a really good indie game, but again, not one that I was typically into. The next was one that was a little bit more on the indie side, but it had a little bit of AAA flair. Was the Pathless.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember this one with the girl like kind of running across the plains, and it reminded me a lot of Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah,
like a little bit of Zelda.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
A lot of Shadow of the Colossus. This actually looked pretty cool, and like the progression of kind of how it looked. Like you start out being able to shoot arrows, and the arrows speed you up, and then like slowly being able to kind of take flight, and then like fly from like beacon to beacon. Very like Zelda.
Yeah.
Definitely very Zelda, but also the boss aspect seems very like Breath of the Wild, or not
Shadow
of the Colossus.
Yeah, where the bosses are like larger than life. And you have to find a way to take them down. Yeah, the movement system I thought was really, really intriguing. I wonder how much the game is going to actually lean on that for everything. It seems like in the trailer, at least, it was pretty prominent throughout the world that you see these nodes, and that's kind of the way you get around.
Right.
So it's an interesting concept in that way. I think that I really have to play it to know what I really feel about it. It's apparently it's going to be open world, so there's going to be a whole world of these crazy nodes, and I'm immediately like, how fast can we actually get here?
Yeah.
It's crazy that it's sort of like a rhythm game too, where you have to get it just right when you hit with your arrows, and that makes you go faster. So that's, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
I could see somebody doing. Have you ever seen the misplayed speedruns?
No.
I don't know if you know what those are.
No.
So basically, there is a group of people that do what's called misplayed speedruns, where they speedrun a game, but they do it in like all the functions of not hitting the correct buttons at the correct times. So like, yeah, so
it's like an anti-speed run.
Kind of, but your goal is still to get through the game as fast as you can.
But you're just fucking up button prompts and stuff like that.
Yep.
Damn.
It's pretty entertaining, especially because like a lot of times when you fail buttons and try to do it anyways, you just get these like crazy skips that you can do. I guess there's some pretty good skips in like Spider-Man and stuff like that if you just purposefully fuck up the prompts, you can like skip cutscenes and like, so like there are ways to do it, but like it's really entertaining.
I was always curious to see like what actually happened, especially in Spider-Man when you miss those button prompts, because I was always like right there on them. Like, there's no way I'm letting Spider-Man get crushed by this building or something like that. But like, you miss that, you're pretty fucked, right?
You've never watched the compilation of just what happens when you fuck up the button presses?
I mean, for Until Dawn, for sure. I've watched it endless times because it's just crazy the amount of ways you could die in that game. But yeah, no, definitely not Spider-Man.
You should just watch the best like button fuck ups because they're great. Also, sometimes people's reactions. There's a couple of streamers who do clips that are all about like the clips are all just like the people fucking up, and they're hilarious. But that's beside the point.
So that's the Pathless. That's the developer behind that one's Giant Squid. So
cool name.
Yeah, pretty cool. The next one on the list is Spelunky 2. This is pretty much just more Spelunky in a lot of ways. They added online multiplayer, which is pretty interesting. You can also ride turkeys. So if anybody's really excited about that,
turkeys,
get pumped. Turkey riding's coming in September 15th, 2020. So that's actually right around the corner. So
almost rode a turkey the other day. I had to slam on my brakes.
Damn. Yeah, that happens a lot around here.
Yeah. Welcome to Maine, the land of the turkeys and random ass shit in the road.
But speaking of games that remind us a lot of Zelda, like the Pathless, Genshin Impact. Have you seen anything on this game?
Not, I mean, like, obviously.
But anything else other than just what they show. So it's pretty much what I can describe it as is just like an anime Breath of the Wild. And
yeah,
it's exactly that. When you look at this game, the areas and world that it takes place in looks almost identical to the Breath of the Wild world, except now you're playing as like cute anime girls.
Gasp!
I'm in. So yeah, it's coming out this fall. They didn't give us a date, which is kind of weird because it's like right around the corner. But
hey,
at the same time,
Genshin
Impact looks pretty interesting. If you're into Breath of the Wild and you wanted more of that, but in a different style, then I think this is definitely up your alley because not only do they have that Breath of the Wild flair, but they also add some anime-esque attacks.
Oh man,
crazy combos, and I'm sure it's got all that great anime fluff in there. So
Breath of the Wild and Tatas, holy shit!
Oh man, cannot wait.
Oh.
And so that brings us to Aeon Must Die. And
yeah,
so
man.
we talked about this one a little bit before, and I didn't know this coming into the show today, but so Aeon Must Die is from I forget the publisher now, but
oh dude, I don't even remember.
So the developer is where is it? Limestone.
There
Games.
we go.
So and it's being published by Focus Interactive. So there have been accusations at Limestone by former devs there that have been since let go that the IP has been stolen.
Yeah.
And we're reporting this. Obviously, there's multitudes of sites that you can go to look this up. You kind of Google around, you'll find it. But yeah, Aeon Must Die. It had a really strong showing. I thought the trailer looked really, really cool. The music and concept kind of grabbed me. I'm right there with like Devil May Cry type things, and this kind of reminded me a lot of that. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about this one. They actually gave a date in 2021. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, the whole kit and caboodle. But this game might not be coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess rumors being that there's nobody currently working on the game because all the devs left due to, like, I mean, foul play is what they're claiming on it.
Right. So I think that this one's kind of dead in the water, but yeah, hopefully this all gets worked out, and those people that may or may not have been harmed by any of the things that were going on at Limestone get what they deserve. Pay being one of the things, because they weren't paid while they were there, assumedly. So moving on from that, because that's kind of a negative topic. It's really strange. You don't really see that much where immediately after a presentation all these accusations come out about a game. But moving on to the next one, which is weird that they were kind of back to back. Anno Mutination. Yeah, that's how it's pronounced, I think.
God bless you. What?
Yeah. It's a very similar looking side-scrolling adventure game where you're controlling this this woman running through like a cyberpunk like world. There's different perspectives where you're running to and from the camera, and also side scrolling. I think it's probably mostly side scrolling, I'd say. It's definitely akin to what we had seen Aeon Must Die in Aeon Must Die. Man, words though. God. It did have a sick soundtrack. I really liked the music in this one. I noted that for sure. That was one of the things that I really liked. The art style was really great. The pixely retro art style really got me, and the action seemed kind of interesting too, but maybe a little shallow, if I'd have to say, because they didn't really show you too much. Yeah. But yeah, for those of you that are into like side-scrolling action platformers, I think this is really going to be up a lot of people's alley. And the cyberpunk futuristic thing is something that's really popular right now, so I think that they're hitting right where it needs to be.
Yeah, for sure.
So, moving from that on to probably the game of the year next year, Bugsnax.
Dude.
What do you think of Bugsnax? Because I have just nothing here for this other than just like a hot topic little thing I have here. But what do you think of Bugsnax? It's first person, for one thing.
Dude, okay, so first person. Really just super grabbing story.
Oh yeah.
I think that, this idea that a spider could be a cake or a strawberry.
It really excites me, dude.
Like I can hear Deborah now getting more hungry looking at the title of this game.
Bugsnax.
I just feel like when I was a kid there was like a leapfrog of this game, and then all of a sudden somebody was like, we should make that.
Yeah, we're like, yeah, now's the time.
You know what I mean?
Everybody's like going crazy because of COVID.
Yeah.
It might just be crazy enough to work.
Do you remember Leapfrogs?
No, I don't remember Leapfrogs.
Oh man. Leapfrog was like a little like console, quotation marks, that basically had like Nintendo-esque cartridges that you'd put in it, and it had like it could do like a math game, or like
my parents tried to get my brother into that, and it really did not work out.
no, it was awful.
Yeah.
However, we had one that got passed down between like everybody in the family, and I ended up getting it when I was like 12.
Wow. So you were like way past that at that point.
Oh yes. However, I did learn. I learned how to take it apart and resolder the motherboard, and fuck with the motherboard.
Wow.
So that was fun.
Did you find Bugsnax on there though?
I wish I did.
Yeah, if you had that brainchild, I mean, it's about to make headlines, I'm sure. But so the Bugsnax game itself, we actually got to look at what the gameplay is actually going to entail. It's first person. You're going to be capturing these Bugsnax, like not like Pokemon, but like animals, but also not really, because you wouldn't capture an animal in any of these things you're capturing these things in. It's more like this like tower net that they show. It looks like a wicker basket almost.
Yeah.
It's really weird. The story is that you're a journalist doing a story on the island of Bugsnax, and that's pretty much it. That's the gist of what we're getting here. And yeah, if you're looking for some snack capturing fun, look for Bugsnax in holiday 2020.
Dude, 10 out of 10.
And if you're looking for some whiplash, look no further than this state of play, because they immediately ripped out Vader Immortal right after this.
Yeah.
The VR Star Wars game. And admittedly, some of the things in this game looked okay, but I think this was kind of a miss.
Yeah. It just didn't feel like there's really too much there.
Yeah, I think that right now, the Star Wars VR thing, I don't think it's quite there yet. I think that whatever they did, I think they launched either Battlefront 1 or 2 with the VR experience in the ship, and that was cool because you're sitting stationary in a cockpit, but just an action game, I don't know. And the lightsaber aspect of it is really, really cool, I think, but at the same time, you're going to be struggling, I think, to really get those things to work the way you want them to. I know that that's going to be frustrating for a lot of people.
Oh, I can just imagine the freaking glitches that people are going to have.
Oof,
also, multiplayer?
I don't know. They didn't say anything about it.
Because lightsaber battles multiplayer, you give me that, okay, maybe we're on to something.
Yeah.
However, you give me that, the only thing I'm going to try and do is get close without getting hit to the other person and then steal their lightsaber and stab them.
Yeah, mine.
Because I don't know if you guys have ever seen any of the like combat VR games, but you can, all of the weapons themselves are all interactable with other people. So like you can literally take somebody's weapon. You can also just remove the clip out of their gun while they're firing.
That's amazing.
And they have one shot left, and then you just stab them.
Man. So this kind of brings me back to another VR game that is not really similar in scope, but it kind of reminds me of this same type of action set piece idea in Super Hot. You remember that?
Yeah, I love Super Hot,
So,
man. I played that before it was VR.
I think Super Hot is the way that VR games like this should be done, and the fact that I think you're going to be moving throughout the world, but they don't really show you moving throughout the world. They just kind of show you like deflecting some attacks, and
Right.
it just really didn't grab me the way I think a VR Star Wars game should. And you know, I don't know if there has been Vader Immortal before PSVR. I didn't look into it that deeply, but I imagine that there probably was, and this is just like the debut.
Right.
But you know, I'd like to see a little bit more effort put into a Star Wars VR game if they're really gonna have like the Star Wars name on it, and you're gonna be a Jedi or Sith going through like that's such a big story to take on, and if you can't capitalize on it, I don't think it's even worth doing.
It's kind of crazy because I feel like there wasn't. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on budgets, but I feel like this didn't have too great of a budget. And for a Star Wars, a literal Star Wars IP, I feel like you'd have a pretty good background and a really good budget for it. Especially like a lot of indie games have done VR, and they all some of the indie VR games that have one developer, two developers looked more in depth and better than this.
Yeah.
Other than like maybe some graphical things, like looked pretty much the same.
So, with that being said, we're going to kind of skip through some of the rest of these ones. 505 Games announced the Control Expansion 2. It's AWE. I think that stands for Alan Wake Expansion.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting. I don't know how they're going to collapse those worlds into one another, but it'll be
We'll
really, really weird, I'm sure. Auto Chess is coming to PS4. I imagine it's probably coming to the other consoles as well. Maybe not Switch, but
it's not coming to computer because it's already there.
Right.
It's also on phone right now.
Right, and Teamfight Tactics is just pretty much that.
Yeah, basically Auto Chess came out, and League of Legends, or not League of Legends, sorry, Riot Games were like, oh, that looks cool. And it was copied. Literally copied.
So that'll be interesting. I'm actually excited to give that type of game a try. I haven't really dipped my toes into that pool yet. Obviously, I don't have a PC, so it's kind of hard for me to do. But next one is The Pedestrian. And this one is a weird little puzzle platformer where you're kind of moving throughout these panels in an I don't want to say underworld because that doesn't sound right, but you're basically gender symbols on a bathroom stall door, and you're moving your way through these black and white areas that are placed in real world areas, and you're trying to make your way to an end goal. And it looks interesting. There's different puzzle aspects where you're like kind of shifting panels around and you're trying to move your character throughout. So in a lot of ways it has that forget that game, the game where you switch the gravity on and off, and you kind of either float, or maybe it's the one where you switch from black to white and different aspects of the area become accessible.
I've got nothing for you.
Yeah. Anyway,
puzzle games, looks not
like,
my thing.
Yeah, it looks like a weird little puzzle game, and the indie focus of this state of play, it fits right in. So, the next one on the list is a little less indie, a little more what the fuck is this? Hood Outlaw Legends.
Yeah, baby.
So this one was really weird. The gameplay for this one, the little amount that we actually got to see, put you in the shoes of an assassin or a warrior of some sort.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're going to be fighting in teams of maybe 3 or more, 3 or less, in these small arenas, and you're either going to be going towards a target trying to assassinate them before the other targets, or you're trying to assassinate each other.
It very much just felt like Assassin's Creed multiplayer meets enemies don't know how to do anything.
I think that the developer of this game really liked the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, and they wanted their own game encompassing that aspect.
Yeah.
So if you're really into that, I think this game is going to be probably way more fleshed out than that multiplayer was. It's probably going to be all kinds of customizable,
like trees and shit
yeah,
like that, or
things
random
that you can
items
do,
that they were talking, like
cosmetics, the whole nine. So
the whole nine.
We'll see more on that, I'm sure. They didn't announce a date that I was aware of there. Temtem is coming to PS5 in 2021. Yeah,
dude.
You remember Temtem.
That's like the best ripoff of Pokemon that's ever come out. And then even the developers are like, we have the best Pokemon ripoff ever.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, you know what? We're not ashamed.
But they do have, hang on though, the best Pokemon ripoff ever with their own content. They've got a lot of their own content, a lot of really good stuff, and multiplayer.
And it's free.
And it's free. It's free?
It's free.
It used to, on computer right now, it's $30.
Wow.
It's early access $30 buy-in. So maybe I'll have to look at that, because if it's free, I'll go fucking play that right now.
Yeah.
I fucking love Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon's great. No Pokemon yet, though, this year. That's weird. No announcements from Nintendo. They're really dropping the ball.
I mean, I don't know.
I did buy Paper Mario the other day, though. And I'm looking into that because I loved the Paper Mario games. Anyway, this is PlayStation Center Play. Let's go. The last one on the list is Godfall. Now, this is probably the best look that we've gotten at the game, the most descriptive they've ever been about Godfall, and I think that now they're really starting to gather the forces in the right direction and describe this game the best way that they know how, as a looter slasher, and they've really kind of put a definition to that. So what they kind of threw out there was the weapons that you're going to be using, the different combos and stuff that you'll have access to, the fact that everybody using any weapon will have a shield. So that's really interesting. The combat seems... what can I liken it to? It's...
you beating a dead horse?
Yeah. It's
something along
like
that line.
It's like a AA third person action game combat. Yeah. And what those combos entail. Like, it didn't really seem very deep in that way. In fact, Avengers seemed more deep in this combo aspect, and I don't think that was necessarily the focus of Avengers. So, Godfall's kind of gotten less interesting in my eyes, and Gearbox, they're known for Borderlands, which is first person and
shooter
guns,
as well,
looting, and if this game is going to be good at anything, I'm sure that it's going to be good at its loot, and that's something that we haven't even seen yet. So I imagine that they'll probably detail that in the next little drop that they have, and I imagine that'll probably be in the next State of Play.
I would be super excited to see that, because as a kid, I grew up playing Borderlands thinking it was gun porn. That's what we used to call Borderlands. We didn't say, hey, you want to go play Borderlands? It was, yo, let's go get some guns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know what you mean, dude. And, I don't know. Godfall will have to win me over to get my $60, unfortunately.
Oof, $60, dude.
And actually, this seems like a game that could go free to play, and I don't think anybody would bat an eye.
Yeah, I mean, and if it did go free to play, I think that, like, the free to play model has so many people that play it. Like, sure, you pay $60 and you buy the game once and you have 1,000 people that consecutively play the game. Sure. Versus you go free to play and 25,000 people play your game consistently at once.
Or even...
even
if they just try it for like a week, you have those people that kind of influx and outflux.
Yeah.
It's
dude, just do cosmetic microtransactions.
The one thing
everybody
that
loves it.
Kind of hinted at the fact that they might not do free to play, though, is that they did say that all of the unlockables are going to be within the game, so there's going to be no microtransactions. So I don't. I
mean,
if they're not going to make their money there, they're going to have an entry fee.
Unless they're saying no microtransactions for things that will further you in the game. And if there is microtransactions, it'll just be like, wow, that guy has a sun for a shield. And like skins and stuff like that. Because I mean, everybody loves cosmetics. Funny enough, though, some games the cosmetics actually do give like actual advantages, hitbox wise, in a strange kind of.
I think Apex had that problem early on.
They did.
Where some of the character models were a little bit bigger, and the hitbox made those hitboxes slightly bigger.
Dude, John Wick in Fortnite, same exact way. John Wick was the smallest hitbox in the game for literally like 6 months in straight.
Yeah, no wonder everybody was playing him.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's John Wick.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
They announced that 4 and 5 are going to be shot back to back.
Really?
Yeah.
I still haven't seen 3.
You should have stuck around for the John Wick night we had.
Yeah, probably.
But that is everything on the State of Play this week, and that is it for our show. And you know what? If you like us, subscribe, comment, share us.
If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, that's just ridiculous.
And that, bravo, because man, there was been some down points in this one. But if you're not subscribed, give us a subscribe. Come back for more, because we're doing this weekly, and we'd love to hear from you guys. So make sure you put your thoughts, questions, comments in the section below on the YouTube page, or message us on Facebook. See where we're at. Maybe comment on a picture that we might post on Instagram.
It's true.
We got all those things going, and we'll keep you updated on any new stuff that we're doing. And peace.
Peace.